folks. Origin 2 has absolutely ignited. If it was quiet, no longer. Billy Slater's comments have ignited Origin 2. Now, his comments in response to Aaron Wood's comments. Slater called a press conference this morning. There was one in the press conference yesterday, but this morning to apologise for the comments around his reference to the previous Maroons coach, the late Paul Green. Here's what he had to say.
Yesterday, I wrongly made the link between Paul Green's death and the stress and pressures of coaching, which wasn't accurate, nor was it appropriate. I feel terrible about what I said, and I spoke to Amanda Green this morning and apologised for any hurt that it may have caused her and her family. I just want to say this. Paul had CTE. That's a different disease to what I was referring to. Once again, I'm deeply and genuinely sorry.
Okay, there you go. So Billy Slater and Adrian Proszenko in the Sydney Morning Herald. Glass houses to a glass jaw why Slater went too far in the Origin Theatre. He puts the pressure solely on Billy Slater and Maroons for Game 2. Barely heard anything from Laurie Dale in the lead-up. Now, this is being stated in the Sydney Morning Herald. I've got to say, folks, like, us as a country, we come across as, we're rock solid and, we're knockabouts. We do all that. What are my views? And who cares for my views? But my views are this. Woodsy went too far. He made it personal. He went too far. I get his explanation that he was trying to fire up Origin. Billy Slater, at the time, I thought it was wrong to include the reference towards Paul Green. He's come out and apologised. Folks, for those listening, right, we've all made mistakes, right? And to me, the apology from Billy Slater felt very, very real. I have made that many mistakes, you can't climb over them. And I'm sure many people listening have done the same thing. He's apologetic. He wished he could have his time back. Sometimes we get very emotional about things, which he clearly was. He was passionate and he was defensive in his way, defending not only himself, his state, and all those sorts of things. So for what it's worth, apology accepted. Not that he needs me to accept his apology, but we all make mistakes, Brian. And he's there. At the time, I thought, you know what? Was he put up to that? Did Peter Bedell, the bomber, did he ask him that question? I don't think he did.
I feel it was a loaded question.
You do think it was?
I think it was a loaded question.
Right.
And he spoke. I thought everything was fine except the reference to Greenie.
Correct.
That everything else. But
if he said everything sans the Greenie reference.
But at the end of the day, Woodsy called him a grub. That's fair enough.
Yep.
But he had a week to. It wasn't as if it was a reactive sort of comment. Like he had a week to think about it. For one, I don't understand why he got involved in it. Billy.
No.
Do you think he?
Yeah, but he might be asking himself the same question.
No, but
Brian.
do you think he needed to respond, or do you feel that the papers got to him, i.e., Peter Bedell or whoever, to say, "Listen, Woodsy's done this. We need to, amp this up a little bit." Billy's too smart.
Yeah. The best thing Billy could have done is nothing. Because Billy doesn't have to stand up for what he's achieved in the game, right?
Correct. And all these other things saying Billy, what he did as a player, he niggled and stuff like that. I mean, tell me a player who doesn't niggle. Tell me a rugby league player in the heat of the battle who doesn't get away with doing something like that. I know what Woodsy's like. I know exactly what he was trying to do. It's just gone blown out of all proportion now. At the end of the day, it's a game of footy.
Billy Slater, for me, Brian, I think he's been in the judiciary 10 times and guilty 9.
Yeah.
But for me, like a lot of our listeners celebrate UFC. Billy Slater is just the ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
For me, Billy Slater is an immortal. For me.
He's in a conversation, definitely.
For me, he's such a good ornament for the game. Not perfect, of course, but that's rugby league. Rugby league is not perfect.
Anyway, it's going to make for a terrific first 10 minutes of the game.
100%.
Billy's come out. He's apologised. He shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
He's realised that. You can tell in his voice.
Yep.
The difference in him at that yesterday and how confident he was and the way he spoke to now, he realises it was an error. He's apologised. Let's move on. We're putting this in the Galvin cabinet.
Yes, and then what's going to happen, Brian, is Billy's going to bring them all together with Captain Munster, and he's going to say the moment that Spencer Leniu is standing on that back fence, boys, converge, we are going to kick it straight down his guzzle. We're going to fly down. Spencer's going to get the ball off the half. He's going to be charging in. As he gets to the line, he's going to go long pass to Cleary, long pass away to Luai, and Lomax's going to run 80 and score.
Yeah. But, Laurie, if you're listening, I know you're not listening, but if you are, can you please start Spencer? Please.
Yeah. Okay.
Would the NRL do this? If we give it a free interchange?
Yep.
If the NRL come around and said, listen, this is going to be a free interchange for
tackle
you.
one, off limits. Adrian Morley style.
You can do whatever you want. That will bring the crowds back.
So for those who don't know, your great teammate, Adrian Morley, true or not, was he sent off in a test match after the first tackle of the match?
It's the first 15 seconds. And watch the video. He doesn't stop. So he sprints, he hits Kernsey, he jogs, he does a 360, and he just walks straight off. He just waves to the referee.
Does he set himself off?
Just goes like that. Poor old Bobby Kay.
Right. Tonight, we're going to a break, folks, and after
Poor
that,
old
your
Bobby
calls.
Kay.
1-300.
He was on a roundabout. He's just going, let blinker on, and then off he goes.
Bobby Kay.
See you later.
Robbie's dad's Bobby. Bobby
Kay. He's still crook from that, Bobby Kay.
Tonight, 7 p.m. on SEN, you've got State of Origin. Take your pick, folks. Just another milestone for what the great man who is standing by, Paul Gallen, joins us. The run home with Joel and Fletch. G'day, Gal.
G'day, boys. How are you?
Going good. Gal, before we get into this, now, I was down your way the other week, and I was watching, I understand you were coaching the under-14s, De La Salle, and I was watching the game, and very, very well coached team, except there's a kid with his headgear, and he keeps constantly throwing these cutout passes, like 30-metre cutout passes. Is there a chance, Gal, is there in any world that you can just tell this kid just to play through the hands? It's too easy to defend long balls.
Mate, it kills me. It kills me. Mate, I told these kids for the past couple of years, stop. They don't work. Just what they don't understand. They see the first graders do it. They want to do it. I understand why. They do see space.
Yeah.
The thing about it is the wingers also don't understand when they're coming. And the defensive system that other teams are using isn't when you need to throw a cutout ball. It kills me, but he's lucky he can play the kid with the headgear. He's lucky he knows what he's doing.
So for all our listeners out there, the kid who wears the headgear that throws the 30 metres cutout passes is...
Gal's young bloke.
No, it's Joel Kane's young bloke.
How does it go?
He's lucky he won't get cut, I can tell you that. He goes all right.
How does it go, Gal, coaching? Like, obviously you enjoy it, but... I coached netball with my girls, and it was the worst part was the parents saying, put so-and-so on. I want to see little Betty go on. Do you have people ringing you up or texting you late at night saying, oh, Paul, I reckon if we play this way and we can get little Johnny a ball on the right side. Does anyone do that?
I've had a couple, but I'll tell you what, I just don't reply. I do not reply. I just leave it and leave it hang. It was actually me and Joel on a WhatsApp thread today where I was getting asked questions. I just didn't reply. And I rang my missus and my missus said, please reply. I said, I'm not going to reply. So you just reply for me. So she replied for me. So I just leave it. And look, I'm not a rude person. I don't mean to be rude, but there's too many other things going on at the moment where I'll concern myself with that when the time comes.
I'll answer for him, Brian. Every single year, and he's got a perfect record. But every single year, he pulls me aside. He goes, "I'm quitting. I'm not doing it next year." And then by the time, he quits every year. He's bellyache. Yes.
Paul Bellamy.
Yes. Anyway, speaking of Bellamy, let's talk about this now. I'm going to start with this, and I only just saw this now, Gal. I don't know if you've even seen this, but a person who you and I both know, Josh Hannay, who's the Queensland Maroons assistant, has come out and said this. He said, "We're going to kick off right, by the way, tonight, so the Blues can put whoever they want on that side of the field," which is a challenge clearly to Spencer Leniu. What do you think about that comment?
Yeah. No, so I did see that before. Clearly Spencer normally stands on the right-hand side of the field, so he'll have to change sides if he wants to run, but I got no doubt Spencer will go there. No doubt at all. When he's on the field, and, you know, what if the Maroons constantly want to kick off to the right, that means we'll be scoring lots of tries, so I hope they've got to kick off 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 times. So I've got no concern if they've got to kick off multiple times.
Have you played over there at this stadium, Gal?
No, I'm here at the moment, sitting here at the moment. That's what the music is in the background. It's a wonderful stadium, it really is. It is a bit bigger and a little bit away from the field, not a normal rugby league type field, but it is an amazing stadium, and the atmosphere will be absolutely fantastic. They should get 60,000 here tonight, so it is a great environment to play in front of.
Does it look wet? And if it is wet, is it going to suit us or the Queenslanders, you feel?
No, it's not wet. It'll be fine. So it was raining this morning. Started raining last night about midnight. Rained till probably 11 or 12 o'clock today, and it's fined up. It's not sunny or anything. It is cloudy and grey, but it's not raining, and I don't think any more rain is forecast. So by the time the game starts, still a few hours away, it'll be reasonably dry. So the wet weather won't be a problem, I don't think, at all.
Gal, you just did a great look. If it doesn't kick off with the boxing or the media, which I doubt because you're very, very good at both, you might be able to be the next one of these.
Wowee. Woohoo. Hooray for today.
Timmy Bailey?
Timmy Bailey.
Oh, he's one.
The Daily Bailey.
How did you go last time we spoke to you, Gal? You had to go and speak to Angus Crichton. Did you make your errand? Did you do your errand?
Yeah, got it all done, mate. Everything was done last time, so there's no issues. Yeah, it was fine. Get everything done.
Because you were just sitting in the traffic. Do you have to do something tonight? What's your job?
A little bit tonight. I've got a little bit to do in about an hour or so. Then got to go. Me and Kamper got to do a couple of functions together for the NRL beforehand.
Cashy,
and then
cashy,
there's no cashies. No cashies.
Here, no
part
cash.
of the 9 commentary team. No, it's part of the 9 commentary team. So that hurts when they lean on 9 for talent, and we've got to go and do it for 9. So there's no cash involved today. And then we've got the opening of the show and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the Westpac Red Zone and how good the Blues. Would you believe this? She loves stats, Joel.
Yeah.
So in 24 and 25 series in the Westpac Red Zone, they've only scored 4 tries against us. Would you believe only one of those tries when we've had 13 on the field?
Yes.
So 3 of the 4 tries have been down to 12. So that's how good our defensive. We can keep our discipline and not get anyone sent to the sin bin. Theoretically, they might not even score a try.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, Gal, what I also love is that you intimately know both these guys. And the big feud that has erupted, which is going to help the ratings, I think, for Origin 2, you've played with Aaron Woods. You're a stablemate these days of the Queensland coach, Billy Slater. What's your take on this for Raw?
Yeah, look, when I first saw it, when I saw Billy's response, I did cringe a little bit, and I did. Look, for me, it was rehearsed and wasn't great, and it hasn't turned out that way. And I'm sure, as we know today, Billy's come out and has regretted what he said, and has taken it all back, obviously, and apologised to everyone. So, think about situations, like there's certain situations in the game, I think the less said, the better, and this is probably one of them, to be honest. But, look, I think Billy would certainly take back them comments if he could. And look, I think at the end of the day, guys, like honestly, like Spencer Leniu was called a grub 3 weeks ago. Liam Martin was called a grub a year or 2 ago. I was called a grub my whole career. Written on the back page of the paper and the front page of the paper. Like, no one worried about us or what was going on with us. So, I mean, it's just... for me, it's just part and parcel of Origin. So I was shocked. Billy took it so personally. I'll tell you one thing I wish I'd have known. I wish I'd have known Billy got rattled by the media so much. We might have tried to get stuck in a little bit more back in the Origin days. They might have won 8 in a row. Because honestly, they were too good for us. And on the back of Billy Slater, Cameron Smith, and Jordan Thurston, had we known we could have rattled him in the media, maybe we should have got stuck in him a little bit more.
Hey, Gav, there's another kid who calls you grub, and that's the 5'8" who plays for Peanut Cell. He keeps saying, I'm just going to keep throwing those long balls.
He calls me more than that, let me tell you. We've got a great relationship, me and little taxi, and he knows he can say whatever he wants to be, mate.
Very good.
Paul, what's the training looking like now? Are you still in the middle of it? When do you sort of take a little bit of a step back, or is it still full throttle?
No, I've had about a step back this week, so I had a decent session on Sunday, then early Monday morning. And then I've had the rest of Monday off, Tuesday, Wednesday I'll have tomorrow off also because of the travel. So, I'm definitely tapered back a bit this week, but I'll be ready to step it up in the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. And then the last week leading into the fight, is next to nothing. All the preparation's done. You can't get any fitter in that last week. It's too dangerous to spar because just in case you get a cut or another injury, a cork or something that goes wrong. So, this week will be very light, and then I'll step it up for probably 2.5 weeks leading into the fight. So I think things are going okay at the moment. Look, nothing's ideal. You get to my age, and I actually had to have a cortisone injection in my shoulder and my elbow on Monday. So that was a bit sore for a couple of days, sort of coming good now. So look, it is a little bit harder at my age to train at the intensity you want to train at, but all in all, not too bad at the moment.
Are you sparring similar style boxers or similar height and weight as Sonny? What do you do there?
Yeah, definitely. So we got everyone with sparred taller guys. We probably haven't got anyone quite just as tall as him just yet. We're sort of about the 190, 191 centimetres. I think Sonny's probably 194. So, look, at the end of the day, he's probably 15 centimetres taller than me. When you think about 15 centimetres, it's a step. It's one of your feet, really, you know what I mean? So, look, I've just got to make up that distance with fast footwork, and once I get inside him, I can then unload and throw punches. So that's why he wanted the 2-minute rounds, because he's going to constantly on the back foot, constantly moving backwards while I'm trying to punch him. And let me tell you guys, when you try to jump in a ring and let someone do that for you for 2 or 3 minutes, it's hard. And when you've got to do it round after round, it's very, very hard. That's why I wanted the 2-minute rounds, to give himself the best chance of winning and being able to hold me off. And as I've said the whole time, I've got 8 rounds to catch up to him, and I've got no doubt by the end of it I'll catch him.
Can't wait for it, Gal. Look, I know it's a busy day, mate, and we appreciate you giving us some of your time. You know what kids are like? You know what I'd do, Gal? I'd tell him to throw long balls, and then he'll start throwing short. He'll do the opposite. So that's what I'd do, mate. All the best tonight. Before we let you go, clearly you're tipping the Blues. I just want to know who you see getting the man of the match tonight as we clinch the series.
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, look, Payne Haas got in game 1, right?
Yep.
So and he thoroughly deserves it. And in all big games, your big men need to dominate that middle. The battle in the middle, so they need to win it. But more often than not, they don't get the credit. The halves or the fullbacks get the credit. So I think the halfback will get the credit tonight. I think we'll go to Nathan Cleary. I think he'll run the ball a hell of a lot. I think the platform will be laid by his middle forwards, and he'll be able to play off the back. I think his kicking game will be great, and I'm going to predict Nathan Cleary as man of the match.
Oh, beautiful stuff. And don't miss SBW versus Gal live from Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney on July 16. So just under a month. Tickets are still available at Ticketek, so get in now for what is going to be a huge fight card and an explosive night. And if you can't make it to the event, you can order it exclusively on Stan pay-per-view. Tonight, you're going to see this man, Paul Gallen, a Blues great. Gal, thanks for joining the Run Home with Joel and Fletch.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.
There he is, Paul Gallen. Matty Bowen, welcome to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. How are you, mate?
Afternoon, gents. Thanks for having me.
Matty, first of all, does Brett Kamali ever come up to you and sometimes just try and grab you by the shirt and throw you to the ground after what you did to him?
No, I met Noddy. Obviously, that year before that, we toured together over in England, so we're pretty good mates. But up until that moment, but yeah, Noddy's still a good mate of mine, and but we still bring that moment up. And but yeah, it's obviously one of the moments that I won't forget. Before
we dive into your great, illustrious representative career, Matty Bowen, let's go back to the start. So you're born in Cairns, you grow up in Cape York, Aboriginal community. You didn't start playing rugby league till you're 12, but we see Matty Mango Bowen. Who gave you the name Mango, and why Mango?
Yeah, I went into camp, first Origin camp, and Gordy and Benny Icahn started calling me Mango, and I was surprised with myself. And where's the mango coming from? And it said, obviously, Bowen Mango. So down the road, obviously,
the town. That's where the mangoes.
The town, the Bowen, got a big mango, and they call the place is Bowen. They call them Bowen mangoes as well. So most have been stuck ever since in the footy world. I'm known as Mango.
Matty, be honest. Ben Icahn came up with it, and Gordon stole it. Be honest.
Yes, I think so. That's how it works.
Gordon's not clever enough to come up with that. Let's talk about Origin, mate. So Queensland, they're under the pump. We've seen all the drama with Billy and Woodsy. Tell us a little bit about what will go on in the dressing room or during this week. What would Billy be talking about in regards to Queensland and the guys that have played before?
Yeah, I think, Billy's got a great staff with him at the moment. Josh Hane played a few games, JT, and guys like that. So I think, Bill will have him ready for tonight's game. And Bill's a very smart, I love listening to him on commentary, and he's very smart when what he says. And no doubt to have him pumped for tonight. I think, he didn't have a successful year last year in the series, and obviously we're 1-0 down now, but I'm sure the boys will be up for this. It's away from both states, so over other side of Australia, but I think Bill and his team should be all pumped for tonight.
Matty Bowen, and we only recently saw it on Fox League, the replay moments ago, that we heard the call here with Rabs, that intercept from Noddy, who's calling tonight, who will be turning the radio off right now. Where does that stand in your all-time career highlights? And take us through that night. So you clinched that moment, and millions of people are watching this game. What does that feel like?
Obviously, every kid in Queensland, north of the border of Tweed, always, everyone wants to put that maroon jersey on. And you do everything you can. As I said, I grew up in a little small place of Hopevale and didn't play footy till I was 12. And obviously watching, Origin go around, but you want to put that jersey on, you have that opportunity to do that. And at the biggest stage, obviously, and Suncorp and in overtime. It's something that I'll always remember, and it's something I won't forget. And just to put that jersey on from a young kid from a community to represent my state, but more importantly, my people. So it's something that when Origin comes around, that moment always gets brought up. So yeah.
I often think about achievements, people from small towns, and Tinga is one of those towns where, Nathan Blacklock, grand final, biggest stage, they can rise the biggest mountains. I'm interested to talk about kids who come from these very, very small communities, yet on the biggest stage. So you did that at Origin. You also scored a try in that 2005 grand final. How can you, as a kid from such a small community, wrap your head around doing such grand things on the biggest stage?
Most definitely. I think, I had the opportunity to go, as I said, spent 2 years in the English Super League, and I never thought rugby league would take me across the other side of the world. And, as I said, a little small kid out of the community, just loved to play the game of footy, and probably showed when I played in the backyard how I just a free for all, and popping up here and there. And that's what we did in the backyard with older brothers and cousins, and and that's what I try to do on the big stage. And but scoring tries like that, it's we do it in the backyard, we do it in the training paddock, and just sort of comes second nature. So yeah.
Matty, one of the great Queensland combos was Kevy and Alf, but I think you and JT were just as potent. Did you have to develop that over the years, or as soon as you both came into first grade at the Cowboys, was it instant?
I think so. To be honest, I think you play fitness games. We all did when we did conditioning games, and we sort of jumped on the same team together, and we sort of worked out one another's what they were doing and what Jono was doing or what I was doing, and sort of worked on as I said, in games as well. And it's something that we sort of pride our games on, and just to work on the back of one another, and it showed for so many years that we played together. So I think it was a good little combination, and sort of missed that.
We all have teams, I suppose, who we love, and there's teams we hate, but there is very few players where everyone loves them. Matty Bowen, you're one of those. What was the sliding doors for you? Like, what got you to the big stage?
Obviously, come from the community, I always wanted to put that jersey on. I always wanted to play for the Broncos, because Cows wasn't in the competition back then, and I got, when Cows come into competition in 95, I got put on scholarship when I was, at 15, and sort of with the Cowboys, and did that, and didn't drink and don't smoke, and that's what sort of drove me to play on the big stage, and I was lucky enough to do it on 270 occasions, and put that maroon jersey on, and Australia. So yeah, I'm just proud of that moment, coming from a community, and making my family proud as well.
The game's changed a bit, which would suit you to a T now.
For sure.
When you watch NRL now, Matty, who do you like watching? Which players are you sort of thinking, oh yeah, I really enjoy watching them go around?
Yes, I think I had the pleasure of coaching Amaso Tabio Fado when he was up here. I coached the Black Hawks 18s in the Melbourne England competition, in that Queensland competition, and just to see him grow as a young kid, and what he's doing now in the big stage, not just for the Dolphins, but now for Queensland and Australia. And I love watching Hammer. My young fella, he's 13, and he loves watching the Hammer as well. So I'm sure, no doubt, people in the Cape and the Gulf and throughout the islands are, Hammer's what their favourite player as well.
Have you ever seen Hammer, going back to when he was a kid, have you ever seen him flat out, like run flat out? Because I feel that he just does enough just to score the try. He doesn't look like he's actually trying to run fast.
A bit like the bloke we're talking to, Brian.
He doesn't, mate. Obviously, he just does enough that he has to. And there's a story of him. He must have been, training for the Cairns up there, Pride, and just finished a session. There were sprinters doing, your red track around the Cairns Barlow Park, and he just finished doing a fitness session. There were sprinters there training, so he took his boots off and ran on the grass beside him and dusted him. So at a young age, so yeah, Hammer doesn't run, that quick on, but I'm sure he can when he has to.
Hey, Matty, you were recently named to the North Queensland Cowboys 30-year team as the fullback, and rightly so, in great company there. Of course, your old mate, Jonathan Thurston, would be the halfback. Just before we let you go, how do you see tonight truly? You're a Queensland great, an Australian great, rugby league great who we love to watch. How do you truly see tonight unfolding?
To be honest, I wasn't confident that in game one, but tonight I think having Tommy Deed in there, Tommy showed a bit of spark in game one. We all love Cherry Evans. He did a great job when he had that jersey on, and but there's a time comes when you have to move on and give it to the younger ones. And I woke up pretty confident, actually. I did have a radio show this morning, and I said I was confident. So, it's going to be different. I think we need to win tonight, and obviously what Woodsy said to try to not have a go at Billy, but, what he said in the media and what Bill come back with, and that's going to be spoken about. We all know that. There's going to be a little, tossed up obviously in the sheds, and it's going to be a feisty one tonight. But I think, to be honest, we'll be up for it.
Now, Matty, Kanara Cowboys text and he goes, ask Mengo about the bet he has had with local Townsville radio hosts.
What is it?
You got to get a tattoo or something?
No. If we don't win a game this year, I'll put a New South Wales jersey in and then walk down the Strand. So, Fletch, I'll be looking for yours.
Okay, yes.
Hey, Matty Bowen.
It's very clean, put it that way.
Mate, a treat to have you on. We'd love to have you on another time. And if you're down in Old City Town, loved you to come in as well, because the board has lit up. We call it a keeper for those guests that the listeners absolutely love, and you're absolutely one of those. Matty Bowen, thanks for everything you've done in rugby league. Thanks for being a guest on the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. And I was going to say good luck to Maroons, but no, I'm not going to say that. Have a good night, mate.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
See you, Matty.
Now, folks, we had to get this guy on because there was scandalous activity in the very first, it's been kept very quiet to this point, but the very first Las Vegas sojourn for the National Rugby League, there was a chartered flight to which two men, it's been alleged as Mr. Brian Fletcher and Mr. Jay Graham of the English variety, James Graham, they had made their way up to the business end of the section where they were not wanted to be there. They invited themselves to be there. They brought open alcohol with them, which was a red wine. And one man who has been entitled to be sitting in a business seat was sitting there on his own, asleep, being quite professional and respectful, and wakes up to a red stain on his right breast, which happened to be, according to those who were witness to that, the actions of said alleged perpetrators, Fletcher and Graham. And it was on this man here, who we've tracked him down, folks, and he is the Minister of Sport, Mr. Stephen Kamper, who's on the line. G'day, Steve.
Oh, thanks for having me on the program.
Oh, now, Minister,
yes.
Minister, I have been apologetic. I did apologise. I shocked you a little bit because I think you were, by memory, because my memory is a little bit hazy, but you had your seatbelt on with the blanket and the blanket up pretty close to your chin, and then you woke up with me staring at you, patting you down with a napkin. So I do apologise.
Fletch, I was more concerned that I had a meeting with the Las Vegas Tourism Authority shortly after the flight, and I was wondering I was going to be going in there stinking of vino. But that was my greatest concern, and I wanted to keep a lid on it because I didn't want my kids to find out.
Yeah.
They found out, and they've all tailed me up, all 5 of them.
Yes. Now, Minister, now that has opened up a Pandora's box because many people, the allegation is that witnesses there, Peter V'landys was in close proximity at the time. They asked, apparently you woke up in sort of, when you wake up and you're half asleep, and you said, where does that man come from? And they said, despite him being predominantly a Rooster, somebody had said South Sydney, and they are saying that since that moment, South Sydney are paying the prices, to which Blake Solly had this to say on Mornings with Matt White.
The deal was signed in 2016. So when the government stadium strategy was developed in 2015, what it said was we needed 2 anchor tenants at a core stadium to build a business case for the knockdown and rebuild, which I think was estimated to cost over $1 billion. So the government asked Canterbury and us to sign a long-term deal to the end of 2030 so that when they invested that $1 billion into a core stadium, they had long-term anchor tenants there that justified the investment. What's happened since is that the money that was promised at the time was initially reduced, and it wasn't going to be a knockdown rebuild, it was going to be refurbishment. Then it was taken off the table entirely, and there were discussions about a more modest redevelopment of the stadium in the ballpark of $300 to $400 million. What's happened since is that's been taken off the table, and now there's no money for a core. So that's the reason why we're now seeking to go to Allianz. From our fan base and our membership point of view, we're advocating for what's in their best interest. We want them to have the same experience that the best stadiums can offer, whether it be in Sydney or around the world.
Rabbitohs CEO Blake Solly with Matty White this morning on Mornings. Our Minister Stephen Kamper, thoughts?
Well, the fact of the matter remains there was an amended venue hire agreement back in 21. It was a fresh agreement. I don't know what conversations were held in 2016. I wasn't the minister there, but there's a contract. There was a 10-year contract, and we're 5 years into that contract. We've got to appreciate that. We'd like to see them honour the contract.
Steve, just on that, he mentioned Blake Solly mentioned the 2 anchor tenants. How much do they pay? Like, is it an amount to cover just the costs of the day? And I'd imagine if there'd be a break even. If there's 10,000 people, they get the profit. Is that how it all works? Or
there's a fruit bowl of commercial arrangements associated with the venue hire, and it's the impact of those. And these figures aren't make believe, and it's got nothing to do with the vino on my chest.
Are you sure,
Fletch,
Steve?
I mean, let me tell you, Fletch. My father lived in Everleigh Street, Redfern, was a 22-stone unit. I never saw that man cry unless they played the Glory, Glory to South Sydney tune. It couldn't be further from the truth. Look, like most footy fans, you got the side you go for, and if it's not South, it's your second second best side. So let's put it. But by the same token, I'm a minister of the state, and I've got a responsibility to look after the state's purse. And when we're talking about a range of cost, somewhere between $20 and $70 million over 5 years, we're not talking about a few bits of loose change here. And I've got to do the right thing.
What if South Sydney got another club to take over their lease? Is that doable?
Look, there's nine contracted games there, and they're very hard to actually get a replacement there. The truth is, just like they expect their players to honour their contracts, we just want them to honour this contract and see it through. It's got nothing to do with any ill feeling towards South or anything like that. It's about the state's purse, and I'm just trying to be as responsible as I can as a minister.
Obviously, the big stadium out there, Accor Stadium, was built for the Olympics. What's the long-term play for that, Steve, would you say? Because there's nothing worse than, well, from a rugby league fan point of view, than seeing a game on television and you're almost blinded by blue seats. What's the long-term play for Accor Stadium?
Look, we're always looking at improving improving our facilities. Even Acor Stadium over the last few years, we've invested over $120 million in improvements there, whether it's installation of the Great Southern Screen, upgrades to the corporate and members areas, your new Wi-Fi speakers, lighting, kitchen, enhanced food experiences. We're always trying to improve. Long term, that's our objective, to keep investing in our facilities. And that, you're somewhat restricted if you're losing 40, 50, or $60 million because contracts. He's trying to get. When organisations are breaking from a contract.
Yeah, Steve, this is all a little bit too serious for me. I'd like to get to know you a little bit.
Too serious.
Okay, let's do this too.
I want to get to know Steve.
Getting to know all about
Now, Brian, we are chatting with the Minister of Sport, Mr. Stephen
Not
Kamper.
only I want to get to this. Not only the Minister of Sport. Get this, listener. Minister for Lands and Property, Jobs and Tourism, and obviously sport. So, when you get into office, is this the norm, Minister? You have to do and multiculturalism as well. Do you have to have all these? Excuse me. Do you have to have all these portfolios? I thought if it's sport would be big enough.
Oh, look, there's plenty to do, definitely, Brian. But I mean, it's an absolute honour. It's an absolute honour to be the minister responsible for all of those things. But I love sport. How can you not love being the sports minister? I love every sport. I participated in most sports. All my children and grandchildren are mad sports fans, or predominantly rugby league. The boys. Yeah. So each one of them, I've had. Each ministry has got its own challenges, but it's very rewarding too when you can actually get great outcomes.
Did you always want to get? Sorry, Minister. Did you always want to get into politics? Like as a kid, were you saying, "Oh, I can't wait to be a minister"?
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. I was in business for 30 years, and I think it was Minzy convinced me to go that way, and here I am. Yeah, he said it changed my life.
Brian, this movie changed my life, and we've never, ever had the opportunity.
Oh, yes. He'll get
this for the minister.
He will get this.
Tourist, take it away, please.
Oh, look, I'm sorry to bother you again, but you got change of $1?
No.
All I got are these damn Nepalese coins.
Do you know what movie that is, Minister?
No, I can't. It was breaking up in between.
Okay, so we're going to show you another bit of audio. Do the other bit of audio, please, tourist. And
what exactly are we looking at here?
What do you mean? What?
Well, I mean, is it the or the?
Is it the Franco the beans?
Right.
Minister Steve Kamper.
Your kids would know this.
Yeah.
Your kids would know this.
Oh, is that loose change? No. No.
There's something. I'll give you a clue. There's something.
It's a movie.
There's something.
And it's in the title. Cameron Diaz is in it. Remember that day?
No, he passed the test because it means he's working too hard, Brian.
Yeah.
He's
it's
working
something
too hard
about
for
Mary.
us.
Minister.
Oh, something about Mary, yes.
You would have been. Now you're a Dragons man, aren't you?
I'm a Dragon supporter. Yes, I am a Dragon supporter.
How's that all going with you and the family?
It's been a tough year so far. I mean, it's been tough for them because they've lost, I think 3 or 4 games just by 1 or 2 points, and they've had a good start in many of the games and just not finished off. Look, I think there's better times ahead. But, it's been challenging. It has been for a number of the last few years.
Minister Stephen Kamper, stay on the line because you have won. Courtesy, you've won a new shirt. Brian is going to send you a brand new shirt that he wrecked.
Yes, I will.
With that,
he's a big man. He's a big man.
That's all right.
Would you be a XXL?
Not online.
Definitely XXL. Definitely. Well, in between XXL and triple, it depends on
all right,
how I'm going. Yeah,
I'm going to give you a XXX, and I'm going to give you a hat. It's a chromey hat that I need you, Minister, to wear next time you're in Parliament. Can you go on? Are you allowed to wear hats inside?
I probably won't wear it in the bear pit, but I'll wear it around Parliament, definitely. Definitely.
Do you ever get to knock around federal politicians? I want to know a little bit to know about Penny Wong. What's Penny like?
Oh, Penny's great. I've engaged. I've known Penny from before she got into Parliament.
Yes.
But I think she's excellent. I enjoy dealing with Penny. She's very professional.
Yeah, she's very professional. I'll tell you what she does.
Unlike this bloke, Brian Fletcher.
Tell you what she
What are you trying to get out of me? What are you trying to get out of me?
No.
We're trying to get to a break,
Steve,
but this bloke keeps asking questions, Steve.
I play touch football against her. She has got the most unbelievable left foot step. Did you see young Celeste Fiketti? Oh, out of dummy half.
Really?
She's got some toe
Steve
on her.
Kamper, Minister of Sport, thank you for joining the run home with Joel and Fletch. We appreciate it. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.